Hello and welcome back to the shed. Great things are afoot. As of making this video introduction, I currently have 997 subscribers. Oh, so tantalizingly close. And it's entirely possible that by the time I get this edited and uploaded, that we'll be over the 1,000 mark. And thank you to all the channels who have been giving me a shout out lately. That's been the big driver behind this boost in subscribers. So thank you to all subscribers, old and new. Really appreciate you coming along on this journey and getting involved, and to everyone who comments and all of the good stuff like that. So this is a good time to remind you about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which is coming up very shortly. And as a reminder, it is this Fowler digital micrometer. Lightly used, but in very good condition, tested and fully functional. Details about how to win this will come in the next video, so please come back for that. What I will tell you is that whoever wins it, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, I will ship this to you free of charge. So please come back, join in on that, and someone's going to get a very nice micrometer. Now, on to the guff. Today, I'm going to give you an introduction to my new knee mill, which I alluded to in the last video. Now, this is a milling machine I picked up actually in February of this year, so 3 months ago-ish. A friend of mine heard that I was considering getting a knee mill, and he called me up and said, found this opportunity. This guy's got one, he's got to get rid of it quick and doesn't want much money for it. I thought, well, I don't want another project, I just want a mill that works. But I went and took a look at it, and it was stuck in a quonset hut. It was surrounded by junk, and it was all dark, and I could barely see it. But one thing led to another, and well, here it is. So in the 3 months since I filmed the intro, I've learned a lot more about it, and so it wasn't actually quite as good as I had at first thought. So my initial intro is going to seem very enthusiastic, but doesn't matter. It's still a fun machine, and let's take a look, see it moved in, get a first look around it, and then there will be a series of videos coming up around its capabilities and a few fixes and installing a DRO and all that kind of fun stuff. So thanks again for looking in. If you're new to the channel, perhaps you'd consider doing a like and a subscribe and a ring of the bell and all of the fun stuff. The more attention the channel gets, the more it gives me impetus to actually keep going and make new videos and maybe even come up with something worth watching. To give you an idea of what I was faced with, here's a few still shots I took when I first went to see the machine in the quonset hut. As you can see, it was buried pretty deep, and it was actually very dark in there. This is the gentleman I bought the machine from moving it out for me, and believe me, it took a while to actually get it unburied from the stuff it was hidden by. And here we are loading it on the drop trailer that I rented for the transportation. And back at the shed with Oscar the dog. A little bit of footage now of getting the machine out of the trailer. Not too much here, and all I'd say about it is I am not a professional rigger, nor are any of my friends, and you should not use this video as any kind of tutorial about how to correctly and safely move items of heavy machinery. Nevertheless, we got the job done. This was a case of there was very little time to actually negotiate the purchase and get the machine moved. We had a few days before the gentleman had to be off of his property, so this was kind of a hastily arranged affair. Hello there, welcome back. So this happened. It's a Cincinnati Toolmaster 1B. Not sure of the year, have to look at the serial number and go and get that traced and see if I can find that out. I've had a test indicator on this and shaken the table about and checked the spindle, and it's tight. This has been sat in a barn literally for a long time. Everything's free, everything's tight, everything's smooth. I'm ecstatic about this thing. So just wanted to show it to you in the as purchased and as received state. In a future video, I'll go through it, show you what's good about it and what's not good. Haven't found anything not good. But for today, just wanted to show you that this arrived, and I'm stoked to clean it up and put it into service. So a lot of fun coming up on that one. It's not a machine restoration, doesn't need restoring, just needs a bit of cleaning and putting into service. Okay, this is as received. Now I have moved a couple of things around, so you can see, whoops. You can see here, it looks rusted up. It isn't. It's just gunge on it. And where I've moved it, it's perfectly clean. Everything's free. The table looks rusty, but it isn't. See? So I'm going to clean that up. There's no apprentice marks on here. No drill marks, no nothing. Spindle is free. Even this vise, look. It's maybe a little stiff from the oil getting thick over the amount of time it's been stored. And this is true all over the whole thing. Knee ways, ram ways, everything. Here we go, just a little bit of sped up footage showing some of the cleaning process, which for the most part was just a case of spraying it down with WD-40, wiping off the gunge, scraping out the old chips and giving it a big and overall wipe down, and not very much more than that. I did take a DA tool and Scotch-Brite the top of the table just to get the worst off. I'm going to try this. I've been recommended this, that it's great for cleaning up old machine tools, and we'll find out. This thick layer of oily fudge actually is responsible for protecting the machine the whole time it's been stored. So as much as there was, this was a positive thing. All right, so a few hours each evening the last week I've been working my way around the machine and giving it a clean. And while I've been doing that, I ordered what I needed to get the electrical hooked up to it, which arrived yesterday. So this morning I've installed a new fuse box and breaker in the shop, and run a cable to this machine so I can just see if it works. Now, this is the first attempt at starting it. I literally just got done wiring it up. I haven't attempted to turn this on at all yet, so you're seeing the first go with it. I'm actually very confident that all will be well, so let's find out. First of all, power on at the back. Now, as I understand it, there's a control panel here. As I understand it, you have to hit start, which just energizes the machine, and then you run the motor from up there. Heard a click. Hey! All right. It runs just fine. Sounds, it's beautiful, it's quiet. That is quiet and smooth. Holy moly. What a result. What a result. How do we look on phases? Forward. This is the first time in my life that a three-phase motor has ever started in the correct direction. Usually I have to swap a phase. The only noise, little tiny bit from in there, which could be worn belts. Could just be dirt and stuff. But the gearbox itself is absolutely quiet. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think I should put an end mill in it and try cutting something. At this point, it really was a case of just putting an end mill in the thing, starting it up and giving it a try. The belts are worn out, nothing's tensioned properly. So this is not a test of its capabilities, it was just for the sake of making some chips and making myself happy. There we are then. After a little bit of hasty rearranging, we've managed to get this beast into the shop. And I have to say, it is very nice to have an American-made machine that isn't a Bridgeport, kind of just a little bit different. So we had a little bit of a look at it out in the other part of the shop where I was cleaning it up. And what I'd like to do now is just have a walk around it and show you what I found now that I've uncovered it from underneath its thick layer of protective grime. These machines are a little bit unusual. They are featured slightly differently to a Bridgeport in terms of the way the tooling is held. And there's some pros and some cons to that. So we'll get into that in a moment. But right now, what I'd like to say about it is, based on my cleaning and just kind of close inspection, the machine seems to be overall solid. There's no play in any of the ways. There is some backlash in it, but it does have backlash adjusters. Those are a hit and miss kind of affair, or at least a pro and con kind of affair. You know, you can remove a lot of the backlash, but when you do that, you're just wearing out the lead screws. So honestly, learning to live with a little bit of backlash is really the way to do it. That's what machinists have done forever. And that's what I intend to do. It's got more wear than I'd originally thought when I went to inspect it, such as it was in the dark of a quonset hut where I couldn't really see anything. But there's no signs of terrible abuse. There is but one apprentice mark right here where this damn Rocher took a bite out of it. Other than that, it's just general wear and tear, and overall it's in very good shape. I think it's going to work out well. So let's have a walk around it. So we'll start here. Nice feature is boxways. Typically considered a bit more rigid than dovetail ways. Action is nice and smooth. Oiler actually works. And you can see evidence of that underneath. You can also see evidence of it in the lower ways. Take a look at the head here. So what I did discover, and the only real item that needs to be addressed, is that the pulleys, the sheaves on some of them are broken and worn, and I'm pretty sure the bearings and bushing in here are shot. Not a big deal. You can see I've got the handle knob removed. This hole where the lever goes is very worn, but I think what I'm going to do is make a new one of these and attach a steering wheel to it. That's pretty common modification. We'll come to the spindle in a moment. Table is okay. It does have some dings in it, but I've been over it with a set of flat stones, and for the most part seems all right. This power feed is some kind of aftermarket feed. Never heard of these people before. It wasn't working when the machine arrived, but I discovered that the fuse holder which went in here was mangled. I've put an automotive type fuse holder behind the panel here, and that now works. X-axis feed is nice and smooth. Currently I've got it blocked up, and that's just so that it's easy to install adjustable feet. So I've got some 1'8" studs coming, and I'll make some pads and some adjustment nuts, and that will hold it up at about this height, which seems quite convenient, and allow me to level it up. The ways for the knee seem to have the original factory flaking on. I'm very happy about that, and the oiler is working. You can see the oil coming out from behind the knee, so that's excellent. This oiler here is functional. There's quite a few things about it which are a little bit tatty. So for instance, the crank handle for the knee, not the prettiest. Similarly, the hand wheels But these are the sorts of things that with just a little bit of care will polish up and clean up nicely. Let's have a look at the collet system used on this. So this is the Cincinnati Toolmaster 1B. It's a 1960 machine. It's actually the first one of this specific model that was made in 1960. I followed up on the serial number. Doesn't mean it was the first vertical mill made that year. It was the first 1B anyway. So these are the collets that are used in this, and these are known as monoset or superflex collets. They're actually a very nice design. They really grip exceptionally well, and in that regard they're a better design than the R8. The downside is they are not a drawbar collet. Not necessarily a terrible problem. It means that you're using a wrench to undo a nut from the face rather than a wrench undoing a nut at the top of the drawbar. So that's not such a big deal, but the really big deal is that these are not used on very many machines. They're used only on this series of milling machines and on the Cincinnati grinding tools. So you can still get them. You can get them brand new from the Hardinge company if you want to buy incredibly high quality brand new collets at Hardinge prices, which are currently $252 each. But they are actually available quite readily on the used market. Only downside there is that most people selling them think they have unobtainium gold dust. But there are a few sellers selling them for more realistic prices. But I have seen it said that that makes these machines doorstops, which is absolutely not the case. What I've done is obtained a 1 1/4 inch collet, which is the largest size you could get in this C-Series Superflex system, and an ER40 collet chuck with an 1 1/4 shank on it. So I'll have a few Superflex collets covering some popular sizes, and then everything else will be done through ER40 collets in the collet chuck, so no real problem. Just a matter of dealing with the situation. But that makes for a nice solid and rigid mount. So there it is. It's just an introduction today, really, just to look at the machine, a look at getting it in, a quick walk around it to see what it's about, and a little bit of vague discussion. What I'll do is, in subsequent videos, we'll take a look at its accuracy, do some test cuts, take a look at spindle run out, flatness of the table, and how well the table tracks. And then we'll just put it to use. We'll start making parts and see where it's at. Future videos will include a DRO installation, a 4-axis DRO installation, assuming that the machine continues to check out. And every now and again, there'll be videos showing improvements to the tool. This is not going to be a restoration project. I've got no interest in a restoration project. I don't have the time. There are lots of restorations of Bridgeports and knee mills and other machines on YouTube, and they are phenomenal. Honestly, some of them produce machines that look like they've just come out of the factory. In fact, better than that even, highly polished and just beautiful. But I don't have the time. What I want is a machine that can be a working machine and turn out parts. And I think this is it. What I will do is clean up a few things, polish up the hand wheels, paint the crank, a few bits and pieces. I'm not going to paint the overall machine. I really can't be bothered. It doesn't need it. That won't add anything to the functionality. I will only deal with things that cause it to not perform. So that's it. That's where we are today. Thanks very much for taking a look, and hope you enjoyed my new machine. And I do hope you will come back and see it as it gets put through its paces. So please consider liking this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Every time more people sign up, that gives me a boost and just makes it worth continuing with these things. Makes it worth me investing in better cameras and microphones and technology to just improve the quality of the presentation. But hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe and well wherever you are, and enjoy, be safe, and have fun. Be seeing you.